Arcade Perfect by Arse.
Right, okay guys, welcome to another Arcade Perfect My Arse. And this video I'm taking a look at Super Hang-On by Sega. Released in 1987, and it was obviously the successor to Hang-On, which was one of the first kind of hydraulic type machines? I always remember the sort of full size motorbike that you sat on, and I believe you could basically ride it and have your feet on the ground and you got less points, but if you actually kind of use just your body weight to turn, I think you got more points. I might be talking complete nonsense. So anyway, yeah, Super Hang-On, this is the arcade one. Got to say, I mean, for a, Sega were absolutely at the top of their game when it came to sprite-based racing games. You know, really are super impressive. Even what, some 30 years on, I still get really impressed with these kind of games. Now this is obviously the arcade running through MAME. Excuse me, I'm eating a sweetie, which is probably not the ideal thing to do when you're trying to record a video. So yeah, I'm using the mouse for steering, which makes it quite good, because obviously these things were all analog steering, and using a digital stick just doesn't really work. It's, you know, you need to be able to have different graduations of turning, if that makes any sense, rather than full on left or full on right. But it's a wonderful, wonderful game. So yeah, that is the arcade one. So I think we should take a look at some home versions. And to kick things off, we'll take a look at the Commodore Amiga. Really nice sound. You can see there, you can adjust the sensitivity of the mouse. What we'll do is, for the purpose of this, we'll go for the beginner stage of every version, just so we're kind of comparing like for like. Sound in this version is impressive. Got to say that the sprite, what do you call it? Sprite scaling? Yeah, I think that's what we call it. Is pretty good. Movement of this roadside obstacle is really good. I mean, it is an impressive port, this one. Obviously, less colours, but it does control really well with the mouse. I did play this quite a lot back in the day. It was probably pound for pound, I would probably say it was the most impressive arcade racer until the Lotus games came along. I mean, I can't really think of any other sort of racing game that really impressed. Obviously, like I says, the Lotus games came along. They kind of set the benchmark. Then you had stuff like what do you call it? American Challenge by Titus Software, and then you also had Jaguar XJ220 as well. That was another impressive game. But before these ones came along, this was probably the most impressive racing game that I can remember. Birdland. When you look at them now, they are very, very simple, quite simplistic, but you know what, that is arcade racing at its best. So that is the Commodore Amiga one. Moving swiftly on, this is the Amstrad. Obviously you don't have the mouse. Is the mouse, can you get a mouse for the Amstrad? I'm not too sure. Now you can see there it's plumped for basically the Spectrum graphics. I'm assuming the Spectrum one's not going to be too dissimilar from this one. Not the quickest, but I've got to say I do like the graphics. Really, really detailed, quite high resolution graphics. The sound would start to grate. I know an engine sound is going to grate, but just seems to be a single channel kind of tone here, but you know what, I'm just being exceptionally picky. This is actually quite a good version, even if it is a tad on the slow side. I mean, yeah, I don't know what kind of speed am I doing there. I'm supposedly doing 200 kilometers an hour, up to 270 kilometers an hour. It's a bit slow, but it's nice. You even get the little sort of reflection in the back tyre. It does look very similar to Chase HQ, the sort of the road, the way the road moves, the way it kind of moves up and down through hills. I'm wondering, was it the same programmers possibly? Same game engine? Not 100% sure. Boom! Distinct lack of any noise from other motorbikes. I didn't notice that on the Amiga one either. You know, it'd be nice just to get a wee sort of sound effect as you overtook other motorbikes, but all in all, pretty good version of Amstrad. You know, it's obviously it's black and white. It looks more like the Spectrum, but very, very nice. Right, next up is Atari ST. Now, this was the very first version of this that I played back in the day, and if memory serves me well, I don't recall this being much different from the Amiga one. Maybe the sound was slightly better, but graphically wise, I think it's almost identical. Again, it utilises the mouse, which gives a really nice controllable control system. Graphic wise, not bad. It certainly looks fairly like the arcade one. Probably not quite as nice as the Amiga one. Again, probably down to slight lacky colours. But again, the sprite scaling is pretty good. It does give a feel of speed. It does look like the arcade. You do feel like you're playing the arcade. And again, what the 16-bit versions have over the 8-bit ones is the analog controls. I know you can get you could get a mouse for the C64. I think the only game I can recall that actually supported it was Arkanoid. It's not something I ever owned. Trying to play Arkanoid with a joystick was next to impossible. Kaboom! Yeah, that's Atari ST, not bad at all. Right, this is a C64. Never ever played this. Dirt Track. That's different track titles. Dearie me. That doesn't even look like a motorbike. That is most definitely the Commodore 64 one with all its sort of resplendent browns. Not impressed. The sprites kind of scaling for the motorbikes isn't too bad. What I don't like about this is the kind of roadside graphics. They look completely washed out, no colour to them at all. They can actually look like it's half finished, and the actual sensation is speed. I mean, I'm apparently doing 280 kilometers an hour. Now there you go. There's a game just to just to show you what is possible. That is Super Cycle. Compare that with this. Super Cycle gives the impression of speed. This one is like, I don't know, awful. Super Cycle is what this should have been. Oops, a daisy, I didn't mean to whack the joystick, whack the microphone there with my hand. So yeah, I'm not impressed with this one at all. It's certainly the weakest version that we've looked at so far. Yeah, so the new stage, you get a different colour. Really, guys? That's going to really make you want to play it. But the only redeeming feature of this game, I suppose, would be the music. But yeah, that's the Commodore 64 one. That is pretty damn poor. Next up is the Game Boy Advance. Now this game came on a pack of 4, I think it was. It was a Sega pack. I think you had Space Harrier, Outrun, was it possibly Afterburner? Now we're talking. How good is that? Wow, really good sensation of speed going on there. Yeah, that's really impressive. I've got to say, they've obviously tweaked the control system because it's digital. Obviously, it's a little gamepad, but it actually plays really, really well. Is this somehow being emulated? I don't know. If anybody knows, let me know. Probably not, but it is impressive. Probably out of all the versions we've looked at so far, I would say this is the most impressive one. And bear in mind what you're looking at. I mean, this would normally be on a very, very small screen, and the fact it's blown up and it still looks and plays impressively, it is impressive. Possibly slightly easier as well than the other ones. Yeah, I like that one a lot. Right, next version. This is the Sega Mega Drive. I'm expecting good things for this one. How do I change gear? I'm stuck at 91 miles an hour or kilometers an hour. How do I change that? There we go. Yeah, this is nice. Again, there's no overtaking sound now. Was there an overtaking sound in the arcade one? Maybe I've imagined it. I don't know, but even, you know, suppose if the arcade one didn't have that sound, then they're not going to change it. If they're doing an arcade port, they generally just kind of keep it the same. But yeah, I couldn't imagine it would have taken a lot of effort to have a little kind of overtaking sound. Oh, there you go. You've got the sound of the bikes there, right enough. Graphically wise, this looks a business. What's interesting is there was very, very few versions of Hang On. I think there was it the MSX and the Master System. I think that was the only 2 home systems to get a conversion of the original Hang On. It's always an interesting thing when they make ports of arcade games, because as you need to understand, arcade games are there to make money. They're not supposed to be supremely playable. They're meant to get the hook in you, you know, they're meant to be graphically impressive so people want to play them, but if they made them too easy, then they wouldn't make any money. So trying to get the kind of balance right, I think, must have been quite a difficult thing. So that is the Mega Drive version. That is really, really nice. Right, and I'm looking forward to this one. This is the Sharp X68000. Listen to that music. Oh yeah. Now I was very, very surprised when I found this. I'd literally finished making this video and I thought I better just double check my X68000 collection just in case, and lo and behold, there it was. But as we all know, the X68000 I believe had the same chipset as was it the Capcom CPS games, so it's a very powerful computer. Albeit one that you'll never ever get to own because it was only released in Japan. They're as rare as hen's teeth, they go for stupid money, and you need to be able to speak Japanese to use the thing. So the chance of me ever owning one of these is probably next to zero. But this is nice, it really is. I think the music's possibly different, or did I just pick a different soundtrack? I'm not quite sure. Yeah, lovely. Right, moving on to the very last version. We can't admit the ZX Spectrum. Going from one of probably the most powerful home computers to one of the probably most underpowered home computers. And I don't mean that as a criticism, that is fact. But you know what? This ain't half bad. Very similar to the Amstrad. And it's got that quintessential Spectrum kind of sound. But again, the graphics are high res. They move pretty well. Yeah, it's not the sort of the quickest, it's not the smoothest scrolling game in the world, but you know, we know the limitations of the Spectrum, but it's again, it's like sort of GCHQ. It feels like you're moving. I like that a lot. Don't know whether the 8-bit machines were they multi-load. I'm not quite sure. I'm not overly sure about the kind of green. Is that part of the sky or something? I'm assuming it must be. Don't know, but yeah, I like the kind of the hills. You've got the undulating road, which is really nice. So yeah, that is the ZX Spectrum. That is the last home version we're going to look at. So just to really recap, guys, what have we got? The Commodore Amiga, really nice, very, very authentic looking arcade port, slightly less colours. Amstrad one, very similar to the Spectrum one. You know, it's all kind of black and white, monochrome, but still a nice looking version. The Atari ST, very, very similar to the Commodore Amiga, probably slightly less colours, I think. But again, the sound is good and it plays well. Commodore 64, really guys, what were you thinking? The Commodore 64 version is awful. Avoid it at all costs. And like I said, as you saw from my little expert of Supercycle, it could have been probably the best 8-bit version. As it turns out, it is by far and away the worst. Awful, awful game. Game Boy Advance, very impressed with that. It was fast, it looked good, it controlled really, really well as well. Sega Mega Drive, again, very authentic looking, you know, it's what we'd expect. It looks like the arcade, it plays like the arcade, it controlled pretty well as well. Sharp X68000, almost arcade perfect. Very, very nice indeed. And finally, the ZX Spectrum. Again, monochrome, but it does a cracking job. Definitely, the Amstrad and the Spectrum are the best 8-bit versions. But I'm going to go in bronze position. I'm going to go for the Mega Drive. Silver position is going to be the Game Boy Advance. I think that's a fantastic version, but I've got to say the best version to play on a home port is the Sharp X68000. As always, guys, thank you very, very much for watching.